Today is all things Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The ball is on the 25, and it is 1st and 10. Welcome back to the show. Today, as we mentioned, we're covering the entire landscape of the Tampa Bay Bucs. We're going to go back into 2024 and review that season and project into 2025 with what they did in free agency and the NFL draft. At the very end, do a game-by-game season prediction. But before we do all that mess, Metro, my co-host, how are you doing today, sir?
Doing fantastic. We are now right after the end of preseason week 1 for Tampa Bay. Nothing really to take from it because they did not play most of their starters, so we don't really need to talk much about that. But a lot of interesting conversations to have today, and it should be a pretty fun episode.
The Bucs team this year, it's going to be a fun conversation. They got a lot to look forward to. Let's go back into 2024 and review how this season ended for them so we can truly analyze it and go into 2025. They're in the NFC South and they finished 10-7 on the season. On their offense side of the ball, they scored the most points in the the fourth most points in the league, 502 points. Baker Mayfield had himself a year. And for points allowed, they were right in the middle, 16th out of 32 in the league, 385 of those. And Tampa Bay had a quarterback named Baker Mayfield who finished the season with, hold on now, 4,500 yards, 41 touchdowns, and 16 picks. This guy was straight heat. Metro, you have some more advanced stats on the season. Can you dive into those for me, sir?
Yes. Got to give credit to Baker Mayfield. He finished 11th in MVP voting.
Huge. That is no small feat.
Nope. It's a little surprising. Sam Darnold was in front of him.
I believe that. Sammy was pretty nice till the end of the year. If he finished strong, he might be in that conversation.
True. So, like I said, I have some more advanced stats just to kind of break down and get a bit more into the weeds here with what happened last year. They were 4th in points per game with 29 points a game, 3rd in yards per game, and 4th in touchdowns per game. Really good on third down, 51.11% third down conversion rate. And on 4th down, a 66% conversion rate there too. So really good on 3rd and 4th down. Let me rephrase that. They had a 64.29 4th down conversion rate, 66% red zone scoring percentage. That's what I meant to say. Efficient running the football. They were 5th in rushing yards a game, 16th in rushing touchdowns per game. A pretty balanced offense too. 12th in rush play percentage and 21st in pass play percentage. Passing the football, 1st in completion percentage, 5th in yards per pass, 4th in passing yards a game, and 24th in interception thrown rate. Probably want to get that down a little bit. Defensively, 17th in opponents' points per game, 13th in opponents' touchdowns per game. Good in the red zone and about league average on 4th down. Really good against the run, ranking top 10 in multiple numbers there. And against the pass, this is kind of where the biggest sort of weakness was last year. 30th in opponent pass play percentage with 62.79%. Completion percentage of 66.47%. And 245.3 opponent passing yards a game, which was the 3rd worst in the NFL. So a lot to take from these numbers. Offensively, really balanced, really good in a lot of different ways. Liam Cohen's out the door. We'll get to that conversation in a bit because it's actually pretty interesting. Defensively speaking, really good against the run, but not so good in coverage. They made some moves in the offseason, which we'll talk about here in a minute, that could really help out the secondary. And I'm actually feeling pretty good about these numbers from what we saw last year and from what they did in the offseason. I feel like a lot of these numbers should be improved upon.
Metro, you are the best in the business. What a great analysis right there. And as you mentioned, their offense was nothing but straight heat. And when that happens, coaches tend to get poached. And when we talk about this poaching, of course, we're referring to Liam Cohen. This man in January had a complicated story on how he ended up in Jacksonville. Supposedly, during all the coach madness after their game, he shot a text to his GM, his quarterback, and his head coach on Tuesday saying, "Hey, I'm staying. I'm not fucking leaving. I'm staying in the building with the Tampa Bay Bucs." But after the Jaguars rolled up and say, "Hey, Duval, do you want to come be our head coach?" Things changed quite fast, and the communication was not quite the same. Kind of a bumpy road out of the building, but had to be mentioned because they are going to have a new O coordinator on this team. Metro, what do you make of this Liam Cohen situation with him leaving the building like this?
Yeah, it sucks. Liam Cohen was a really good offensive coordinator for this team last year, led the Buccaneers to, I mean, let's call it what it was, a top 5 offense. Baker Mayfield had his best year in his career last year, I think in a big time because of Liam Cohen. Now you get Josh Grizzard, who has spent some time with the Buccaneers for the past couple of years, but previously was with Miami, so some familiarity there. I'm not expecting a huge drop-off between Grizzard and Liam Cohen. In terms of the situation and how it all kind of went down, it sucks. It's unfortunate. I don't really like it when coaches go behind the other coach's back and there's some poaching going on. But hey, money talks, and I'm sure the money was pretty good for Liam Cohen to take that deal.
Dude, I'm actually reading this right now too. They asked, "What is your number to stay in Tampa?" And he came back and say, "I want $4 to $5 million a year, which make him the highest coordinator paid in the league." And the Bucs said, "Yeah, let's do it, contingent upon you don't take another interview if you sign this contract." So they matched the number that he wanted, and he's like, "Hey, you sign here, you could not talk to another team," which is technically not legal, but that's what they agreed upon. So really mess of a situation, but I don't want that to doom too crazy. Just had to be mentioned because this was a huge part of this offseason. Anything else here, Metro, or am I good to go into free agency?
I want to know how much he makes. From what I'm reading online, he makes about $12 million now with Jacksonville.
Oh, sorry, guys. I'm gone.
I can't confirm that. Well, I think it says on ESPN, it's believed his deal with Jacksonville will pay him in the $12 million range per year. Listen, guys.
You got to go.
I'm sorry. If I got to backstab my friends for $12 million, shit. In the NFL world, $4 million, $12 million. That's 3 times the money, dog.
3x.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't really blame the guy when you put the numbers out on paper. It's like, yeah, I think I'll take $12 million over 4. So, any bad thing you say about Liam Cohen, just put the context of he's making $8 million more in Jacksonville and put yourself in his shoes. We can all kind of understand where he's coming from here.
Pretend it was you. Exactly. What would you do? I think we all know the answer. On a lighter note, let's go to the Bucs free agency period. What moves did they make? Who did they retain? Let's go down the list and hit the big ones. First one, they signed edge Hassan Reddick, a really good get on a 1-year, $14 million deal. They had some good depth pieces besides that around the offense and defense, but their big re-signings, wide receiver Chris Godwin, 3 years, $66 million. This dude got paid, ladies and gentlemen. You also got your guard, Ben, on a 3-year, $22 million deal, a linebacker, Levante David, on a 1-year, $10 million deal, and some other fills in between. Overall, Metro, a more quiet free agency for the Tampa Bay Bucs, but they addressed what they needed to address and got their studs back in the building. What was your thought on this? And if you would give it like a letter grade, what would you give it?
Yeah, I mean, they didn't really do anything of serious importance. They did bring in Hassan Reddick, who had a bizarre year last year with the contract situation, being traded, sitting out, moving all across, and just nothing really kind of ever coming to fruition there. And even into this offseason, I believe there was some stuff that went on too that's unfortunate, but I believe he's now with the team and he's going to be ready to go. I mean, they didn't really do much. They re-signed their punter, they signed a punter. They re-signed, Chris Godwin, which was probably the biggest thing they could have done. Bringing back Chris Godwin, bringing back Ben Bredesen, Levante David, Anthony Nelson, Greg Gaines, even your backup quarterback. So, really, realistically speaking, the stuff they did was just re-signing a bunch of guys and taking a flyer on Hassan Reddick. And if the Hassan Reddick thing does work out, that's a really big pickup for the team because, I mean, let's look at the numbers. Last year, only 3 sacks, but he played less than 250 pass rush snaps last year, so really not a big sample size. The year prior, though, in 2023, 13 sacks via PFF, 2022, 18 sacks via PFF, 2021, 15 sacks via PFF, 2020, 13 sacks via PFF, and that's when he officially started to become a full-time starter. So, what is that, 4 straight years of over 10-plus sacks via PFF, and last year, bit of a down year. We'll see if he can bounce back. It's a high-reward, low-risk move. It's a 1-year deal. It's a lot of money, but it's a 1-year deal. And look, if this guy goes out there and balls and gets you 8-plus sacks, this Buccaneers team could really use it. They don't really have too many dominant, edge rushers. You have Yaya Diaby, who's young and still developing, but I don't know if you really trust him to be your go-to pass rusher. and you're relying on other guys too to step up, but they don't really have that guy off the edge who you can rely upon. And I think they're hoping that's what Hassan Reddick could become. So, they didn't really do anything else though. Like, they literally did nothing. And the Chris Godwin contract's a bit risky because he is coming off a bit of a major injury. So if the Chris Godwin thing doesn't work out, that could end up being a bit of a bummer. So we'll see. For me, it's C+, C. I don't know. It really didn't do much.
Yeah, it didn't move the needle, but just a little bit. The needle that you mentioned on how you have to prep for this guy, of course I'm speaking about Hassan Reddick, when you face Todd Bowles week to week, it is one hell of a preparation for that O-line and all their blitz packages. What is this guy scheming up? Above all, when you sign a guy like Hassan Reddick, he demands attention. That O-line will be talking about that man every day, the entire week, and that is using precious resources and time on a player who you signed for 1 year, so it's going to make a major difference. And as you can see, he racks up sacks every single year. He is productive as hell, and what we need on this defense. For me, Metro, on this grade, I give a C+ here too. I think it was good. A C+ is not bad whatsoever. It is above average. It is good. You move the needle a little bit with Hassan Reddick. I like the signing a lot, and retained our good players. Are you ready for the draft, Mr. Metro?
Yes, the draft, and it's a pretty fun draft that I feel like moved the needle in a lot of ways.
Same, man, same. Let's go down the list first, then go through each individual player. First round, we got Emeka Egbuka, the Ohio State wide receiver. Did not see this one coming, but man, was it fun. Second round, we have Benjamin Morrison, the Notre Dame cornerback. Hell yeah, brother. Third round, we got Jacob Parrish, the Kansas State cornerback. This dude is sticky in coverage. Fourth round, we got David Walker, Central Arkansas edge rusher. And then another edge rusher in the fifth round with Elijah Roberts out of SMU. And then in the seventh round, kind of biased here, I love me some Tez Johnson, the Oregon wide receiver. Let's start in round one. Emeka Egbuka, the Ohio State wide receiver. Throughout the draft process, we're not GMs or scouts, but it was pretty well known that he was one of the most polished wide receivers going into this draft process. It seemed like every team wanted a piece of Egbuka because of his character, how good he is at football, and how high he was, the likelihood I'm speaking to of how well he will hit in the NFL. It was a very, very high hit rate. He goes to a team with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. They are nearing the end of their career, so it's a perfect refresh, and you get to learn from those two guys. This is how good NFL franchises stay ahead of the curve and don't take just straight need picks and get the best player on the board. I like the move on draft night, and I thought it was a fun one and really good for the franchise. What were your thoughts, though, Metro?
Yeah, when the pick first happened, I wasn't the biggest fan of it. And my reasoning was I felt like they needed a linebacker with Jahad Campbell still being on the board. That's who I would have taken. Will Johnson was also available, but he ended up falling a lot farther down the board. So when it happened, I wasn't the biggest fan. I still think they should have took Jahad Campbell, by the way, but they went and took Emeka Egbuka. And I think it's going to work out. I mean, Emeka is just such a plug-and-play NFL player. Like, you can just throw him in there as your second option, your first option, and he'll get the job done. He's crafty. He knows where to find space. He's got excellent hands. He's not the greatest athlete in the world, and he's not going to win 50-50 balls or anything like that, but you don't really need that. You already have Chris Godwin. You already have Mike Evans. McMillan had a fine end to his year last year, so I feel like you kind of get what you need with Emeka, and 3-4 years down the road here, Chris Godwin might retire. Mike Evans might be out the door. Emeka might be your future number one or your future number two. There's a lot of similarities to his game with Jackson Smith and Jigba in a lot of ways, where you can throw him in multiple different packages. He's not as athletic as JSN, and I don't think he has the upside of JSN. I think JSN could be a really good wide receiver one. Whereas for Emeka, I do think he's kind of capped as like an average wide receiver one, but an awesome second wide receiver. So I think for this team in the future, that is something to kind of keep an eye on. But specifically for this upcoming season, he's going to be an impactful starter right away on a team that wants to make a deep playoff run. So thumbs up for me here. Again, when I first saw the pick, I didn't love it, but the more I've kind of sat on it, the more I've kind of turned around on it.
Totally fair, Metro. Like, when it came out, you're like, Jahad Campbell felt like the biggest lock to this team at 19 just because it was a position of need, and we knew he was a damn good player. At least we think he is. We haven't actually seen him fully pan out in his career. But Emeka Egbuka, A lot of the times we play for upside in the draft, like we think we know what's going to happen and how these things go. Sometimes it's just, damn it, can we get a player? Can we get a starter with this pick? Because a lot of these times, first round, second round picks bust more than not. And I feel like we can all feel this way. Emeka Egbuka has a really high floor, and you're getting at least a solid starter in the NFL with this kind of pick. High impact, like you said. Anything else got Egbuka before I go to the second round?
No, but I will say I think you should expect immediate production, and I wouldn't be shocked if he has 700, 800 yards in his rookie year. That would not surprise me at all.
Where do you think he finishes in the Offensive Rookie of the Year candidate? Rating-wise, so he's finished 10th, top 3, top 5. What are we thinking? Because he's got a path now with Chris Godwin having a little bit of an ankle injury and starting later than we expect this year.
I could see him finishing top 5. I don't think he's going to win it. I still think Genty, I know he didn't play well in the preseason, but by the way, we probably should have talked about him as a loser in our last video. But
we definitely should have.
We definitely should have, but it's all right. Genty did not play well, but he's fine. I think Genty will still win it, and then I think Cam Ward will be in the conversation. Trav will be, Tet will be in it. I could see one of those running backs like RJ or Caleb maybe in their conversations. But yeah, I mean, I think Emeka has a path, right? With the injuries to Chris, and Mike Evans has a bit of an injury history, although he's pretty damn consistent. So yeah, I mean, I could see Emeka going out there and making a lot of plays next year.
Hell yeah. And he's got an awesome quarterback. Let's go to round 2, where we have Benjamin Morrison, the Notre Dame cornerback. Benjamin Morrison, it was a tale of injuries, an ACL tear, and I don't really care, though, to be honest with you guys. The talent that Benjamin Morrison has, he's been a starter, I believe, since his freshman year in college. He's been making plays since birth at Notre Dame. This guy's a stud. He's got smooth hips. He's a great playmaker on the ball when it's in the air. He can get physical when you want him to, and I thought the value was just outstanding. I'll be bold here, I think he will be a solid starter at cornerback in the NFL. And if you can get that in your second round pick, I will take that all day long. Metro, what were your thoughts on Morrison in the second?
Yeah, it was a hip injury, not an ACL injury.
Thank you.
But one thing that is a little disappointing, he's not going to play in the preseason because of a hamstring injury, so we'll keep an eye on that one. I'm a big fan of Benjamin's game, really big fan. He's really physical, he's well-sized, can play multiple positions. I do think he'll be an outside corner for this team with their third-round pick we'll talk about here in a minute. He's going to probably play your nickel, and then you're probably going to put Benjamin on the outside somewhere. And, this guy he's a baller. He can play a lot of different ways. I think he's physical. I think he's very smart, really good technique, good ball production. I think he had, 9 interceptions in 2022 and 2023, which is just, a lot. I think he's a good athlete. Hopefully the injury is not a big deal. I think he's also just a really good guy as well. You saw the video of him when he got drafted, like how emotional he was and how like this is a big moment for him. This is a really big opportunity. So the 2023 film was really impressive. When you watch and sit down and get a chance, I strongly advise watching the 23 film because he was locked down. Like he made a lot of plays out there. And I think for Tampa Bay, we talked about it. This was not a particularly great secondary statistically last year. And with adding Hassan Reddick, now you get another pass rusher to put more pressure on quarterbacks. And now you draft a corner that can potentially play on the outside and maybe be one of those starting corners for this team and make a lot of plays out there, make life hell for other quarterbacks. And it's just a good pickup. And, with their third round pick, they doubled down with Jacob Parrish, who I was also a pretty big fan of.
Jacob Parrish, for context, he's 5'10", 191, a little bit shorter, but this guy can fly. The 10-yard split is 1.51, which is fast as hell, and the 40 was a 4.35. He is sticky in coverage. He had 4 picks in 2023. He could play on the outside and in the slot. I think when you take a guy like Morrison, who might take more time to develop and hit his full stride, so to speak, Jacob Parrish is a day one plug and play. Maybe he's not a world beater, but man, you can at least get him started on your defense and do some damage there. What were your thoughts on Jacob?
Yeah, he's an undersized guy. He's definitely not going to be an outside corner. He's probably going to play a lot in the nickel, which is good. This is what the team drafted him to be their starting nickel so they can move Tyke Smith back to safety. And that's exactly what you're going to get with Parrish. He's got the speed. I think he could be fine in coverage, and I think he's just going to be a solid player. In the last 3 years, 23 passes defended. He's got a lot of experience, smart player, And kind of like Emeka, I think it's another guy that's just a plug-and-play starter in a lot of ways. So, I mean, you're 3 picks in, assuming Benjamin gets healthy and maybe at some point takes over that starting corner role, you maybe have 3 potential starters, which is pretty darn cool. And by the way, 3 excellent locker room guys, 3 dudes that are just
well said,
like really good guys. Like Emeka Egbuka was just such a chill guy out there. Like you got Jeremiah Smith, you got all these superstars, Marvin Harrison Jr. I think he also played with JSN potentially. So this guy's playing with some excellent Ohio State guys. Despite that, he is OSU's all-time leader with 205 receptions. So shout out to Emeka Egbuka. Waited his turn, got his opportunity, never complained. First-round pick. Benjamin Morrison, doesn't matter that the injury tore his season down last year. Still a second-round pick, still very talented. And Jacob Parrish, a bit of an older guy, but man, just 3 really good guys here to add to your locker room, and I was a big fan of what they did so far.
Really well said, man. I do want to go back to that super quick. When you have a freshman wide receiver who is being talked about 10 times more than you are, and you're a first-round talent, that can mess with a lot of people's heads, man. Especially for a wide receiver where they are, give me the ball, give me the ball, give me the ball. And he didn't. He promoted him, if anything. I'm speaking of Jeremiah Smith, of course. That guy, when I believe Joel Klatt walked into the building in preseason in fall camp, he went to Joel Klatt, Emeka Egbuka, and said, Jeremiah Smith is the best we've ever had at Ohio State, the best wide receiver. Did not mention himself, did not mention others. He was boosting him, even though he knew that would take attention and press away from himself. Awesome guys they drafted in the first 3 rounds. I don't know a ton about these last 3 Metros, so I'll go through them frankly quickly and let you cover them as well. I do know the 7th round pick pretty well. But 4th round, we have David Walker, the Central Arkansas's edge rusher. He's 6'1", 263, explosive as hell. In the 5th round, we got Elijah Roberts, the SMU edge rusher. This man's 6'4", 285, a little bit bigger right there, a little bit more of a run-stopping defensive end. And then you have Tez Johnson in the 7th. I saw Tez at the Senior Bowl. I didn't see him at the Combine, but we could see the numbers right here. He did not do well. 154, slow 40-yard dash at 4.51. But his short area burst is just pretty damn nice. I can't lie. So he kind of makes up for it. I like the pick in the 7th. I think he gets some value here personally. Metro, any thoughts on these last 3 picks?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was pretty clear what they wanted to do. Fix up the defense. I mean, they only spent 2 picks on receivers, and outside of that, they knew what they needed to do, which was add help to the secondary, find some pass rushers, to add to your edge or interior. My one complaint with this draft is they did not get a linebacker. I'm just not a huge fan of their linebackers on the roster. Levante is just old at this stage, and then Anthony Walker had a really not great year last year, so a little bit worried about that. But in terms of who they took, David Walker can really get after the quarterback. It's at Central Arkansas, so keep that in mind. But he did have 39 sacks over 4 years. And then Elijah Roberts can also get after the quarterback, too, up the middle. So they got 2 guys there that can potentially get after the quarterback after a few years of development. Tez Johnson's interesting. He is, like 6 foot, 150-something pounds, something like that. Maybe 5'11", maybe. So we're talking a really, odd build. And it's hard to make it. I'm bigger than this guy, right? A lot of you guys are probably bigger than this guy by a decent bit. And while he was productive at Oregon, it's a little hard to see his path on the field. Now, I will say this. I actually love his fit specifically with this team. The Buccaneers don't really have a fast guy, right? Jalen McMillan, I guess, is probably their fastest guy on the roster. Mike Evans is not going to beat you with speed. He's a good athlete, but he's not going to beat you with speed. Chris Godwin's not going to beat you with speed. Neither will Emeka. Trey Palmer isn't going to do that either. Sterling Shepard won't do it either. So if you need a guy that can just kind of stretch the field a little bit, I could see Tez Johnson getting some playing time this year. It wouldn't shock me. Jalen McMillan is a bit more of the faster guy on the roster. He can kind of do some stuff, but I think Tez is also there too. I also want to mention Shiloh Sanders, undrafted free agent, is on this team. And Desmond Watson is too, the big old 450-pound defensive lineman that is apparently put on a diet, by the way, which is hysterical. So we'll see about that one. I also want to mention this. David Walker's on IR. So
good call out.
I don't know what's hold on, let me read this real quick. Oh, David Walker out with an ACL tear. That is a bummer.
Wishing him a speedy recovery.
Yep. So that's not good. That is not good. So everything we said about David Walker, scratch that. He ain't playing.
We'll see him next year.
Sucks. We'll see him next year. Maybe this will be a good year for him to learn and develop. That is actually a pretty major loss for this team. So now you're probably banking on Chris Broswell to really take a step forward next year. But, yeah, I mean, a solid draft all around. I'm not going to take the injury into account here when discussing the draft. But
Grade?
I wish they would have took a linebacker. That's the only thing holding me back. I'll say B. I'll give it a B.
I think so, too. I'm going to give it a B+.
Yeah,
because
I was going to say maybe B+.
I'm going to go B+ just because I'm like you, Metro. When people don't do what I want to do, I get frustrated. And then I remember, hey, their job's on the line. I think they know best about their franchise. So I'll go B+. I think you will do the same from what I can hear. Really good pick, really good guys, and some instant impact players on this team. Next, let's go into their offensive depth chart before we review the defense. You ready to go to that, Metro?
Yeah. So every single 25 or 30-minute mark, we do a question of the day. This is non-NFL related stuff. So if you want to skip, I'll put a little time marker up for you guys, or you can check the timeline. This is just a random question that I don't know the answer to. Cade will ask me. I'll give my opinion, and then he's going to give his opinion.
Metro, here's the non-football question of the day. The question is, what's the best ice cream flavor out there?
Oh, can I give you a hot take? I'm not a big ice cream fan.
Who the hell are you? Are you human? What do you mean?
I'm a frozen yogurt guy.
Potato. What do you like? Okay, you're going frozen yogurt. You're more of a toppings guy, I imagine.
I am a toppings guy. I will answer ice cream because there are some ice cream flavors I do like. Okay. Well, I can give you my Mount Rushmore.
Love that. That's even better.
Rocky Road, always got
phenomenal. Come on now.
Cookie dough, always elite. Sleeper, mint chocolate chip. Cannot sleep on it. Mint chocolate chip, go crazy. All right. Fourth one, any sort of what's the word I'm looking? Any sort of caramel flavor, just a straight caramel ice cream. That's the Mount Rushmore. If you disagree, I don't know. Screw you.
I'm going to be honest, bro. I'm not going to put the caramel in it, but besides that, you go bar for bar with my top flavors. The only other one I'd probably put in there is a really fat, big back, brownie batter inside of chocolate ice cream. Yeah, that's diabolical.
You're right.
Man.
That's better. Whenever you get the big chunks of brownie in there,
God,
it's just different.
Taking a nap.
Can we include the giant cookies with the ice cream in the middle? Those things.
That's my favorite. That is my favorite.
Those things are gas, bro. They're so good. Anything that has is with the ice cream in the middle, and then the middle is so soft, and you got the hot, and then the middle is a little cold.
My God,
man.
I was at Buc-ee's Friday, bro, and I had big old burrito, big old pulled pork sandwich. My lovely
what burrito?
woman.
What burrito?
Okay, I don't want to give out the secrets here.
The Philly
because I've had everything
one?
in there. I like that one. The chicken burrito is like Taco Bell back when it was good and actually they loaded their food up and it wasn't just a tortilla on a piece of cheese. Actually bomb, pretty inexpensive too. That's my kind of go-to right now, and it doesn't pack me with 1,000+ calories. So I like the chicken burrito.
So when you go to Buc-ee's, this is a totally a side mission here. When you go to Buc-ee's, what are you getting?
When I go to Buc-ee's, the rule for me and my lovely woman is we each get one thing and we decide on a third thing, whether that's going to be a meat and a cheese cup or a banana pudding cup is up to God. It's kind of however fat we're feeling. And so I'll just go with the chicken burrito or one of the pulled pork sandwiches. If it's in the morning, I'll get the sausage biscuit because I enjoy that. And then she'll usually get... She copies me, to be honest. We just kind of roll together. We get the same thing every time. What about you, though? What's your Buc-ee's order?
So do you get a drink, though? You don't get a drink?
I don't get a drink. I'm a big water guy. It's water or,
So if it all depends on, am I just going there to Buc-ee's and then coming back home, which I never do. But if I'm going on a road trip,
are you close enough to one?
I'm about 45 minutes for one. So I'm not just going to go over there to Buc-ee's to get one. But whenever I go to my parents' house, I drive by 2 Buc-ee's. So I stop by usually one of those. So this is my order. I walk straight to the drinks. I'm getting myself either a Powerade or a Body Armor. Right? No, not the fountain drinks. I'm getting the pre-made ones. I ain't getting the big. Too much work. All right. Then for me,
What
I
flavor?
always get. Oh, that's a good question. If I go body armor, I'm going with either the strawberry banana, which is my favorite one.
Bomb.
Fruit punch one's also pretty good. So I get one of those two. I usually get the strawberry banana one. And if I'm going Powerade that day, I'm picking a grape zero. I'm getting the zero sugar one.
You
Grape zero.
psychotic man.
I'm going for it. All right. And for my snacks, got to get the yogurt pretzels, specifically the strawberry one. Underrated, slept on, fire. So good. I don't get the big bag. You can get big bags. I think I always get the small bag.
Okay.
So I get that, and then I'm going over to the meat section, right? And I honestly don't even look. I just pick one up. I'm risking it every
Like the
single time.
sandwiches?
The sandwich or the burritos. I'm just picking one.
I respect that.
Whatever
Nothing's
is
gonna
like
go wrong.
You cannot go wrong. And if I get the cheesesteak one, cool. If I get the chicken one, cool. If I get a brisket sandwich, cool. I don't care. I'm just picking one up.
It's all good, and they're all singing, "Brisket on the board." So you know
Yes.
it's gonna be good, bro. You know it's
And
gonna be good.
My girlfriend, she always likes the peanut brittle. That's what she likes.
Ooh, that's hard to beat, bro.
Yeah, so she gets that, and she usually gets like a Coke, and she doesn't like the sandwiches. I don't know why.
It's okay. More for
It's
you.
okay. Exactly. She's not asking for mine. It's always the dogs in the back putting their head up on my shoulder. I'm like, back
Thumbs
off,
up.
bro. He understands.
Let's go. Great question. I mean,
Sweet.
great initial Mount Rushmore, turning that into what that is, and then also spitting back a Bucky's question. Really good non-football questions of the day. Do you want to pivot back into some Buccaneers football?
Yes. Do you? You're always terrible at pronouncing names. Do you got these ones?
I got this shit, Metro. I'm
right,
ready
go
to
for
go.
it.
The only one that's scaring me is the Luke, but I'm going to get this shit right. Here we go. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, their offensive lineup. At quarterback, we have I'm kidding. Baker Mayfield. I'm not that dumb. Running back, we have Bucky Irving and Rashad White. Wide receiver, we have Mike Evans, Hall of Fame Mike Evans. Wide receiver, Chris Godwin. Wide receiver, Emeka Egbuka. Tight end, Cade Otton. Left tackle, Tristan Wirfs, who's going to be out for a handful of weeks with an injury. Want to call that out. Left guard, Ben Bredesen. Center, Graham Barton. Right guard, Cody Mach. Ooh, that's probably not right. And then right tackle, Luke. Say it, Metro. What is it?
I don't know how to pronounce it. I think it's Godek I think it's Godek. That
Sounds right. That sounds right. It's a good-looking last name, too. But this is their offense. On initial review, I see stacked wide receiver room. Obviously, they can handle these injuries and be just fine. I like Cade Otton, too, personally. I think he's more of a sleeper tight end in the NFL. In this O-line with Graham Barton and Tristan Wirfs, when they're playing and they're going, it is a solid unit in my eyes. Baker Mayfield, he is the variable in this offense that makes it go. It's amazing to see how he's bounced back in his career and really put up amazing numbers last year, and there's no reason to believe that he stops in 2025. The only big catastrophic reason he wouldn't do as well is if Wirfs is out for a prolonged period of time, but that's just my thoughts. Metro, what would you grade this offense and anything you want to call out?
Yeah, I mean, this is an excellent offense. To me, it's probably an A. I think you have a quarterback that has really turned a page from his past and now is like, a top 10 level quarterback now. I mean, he's really put it together so far with his career, and last year was his best year, and I'm thinking this year could be even better. Bucky Irving was a revelation for this team last year. I mean, he is truly a difference-making running back. You also pair him up with a Rashad White. That kind of nice gives you a nice little two sort of styles right there. Receiving core is dealing with some injuries now, so we'll hopefully get healthy at some point. But you do have Chris Godwin, you do have Mike Evans, you do have Emeka Egbuka. We'll see if McMillan can get out there. We'll see if Trey Palmer and Tej Johnson get some playing time too. You like Cade Otton? I think Cade's fine. I don't think he's a difference maker or anything like that, but he gets the job done. And then offensive line, once Wirfs does come back, I feel pretty good about it. Interior is still it's not great right now. Ben is an average starting guard. He gets the job done. They paid him for a reason, but he's not anything special. Graham Barton, though, had an okay rookie year last year, but I think really can now turn the page and really become even better this upcoming year. I think the key for this offense to go from being top 5 to top 3 or 2 is Graham Barton turning himself into a special kind of starter. If Barton does that, I'm looking at this offense and I'm seeing a lot of points being scored. Of course, with the caveat, we don't know what the OC is going to look like. But if we assume it's similar to last year, then this should be a really, really good offense next year.
Great analysis. What would you rank this offense number-wise from 1 to 32? Last year they were 5th.
Well, I think Baltimore's still better. And Philly is probably better too. I think Tampa Bay's 3rd.
Okay,
I think they have the. Now here's the thing, though. I think when you get to the playoffs, it doesn't sometimes translate as well as a team like Buffalo or Kansas City at times. And I think the Rams will also be really good. But regular season, when the numbers count in terms of the statistics, yeah, I'm thinking probably the 3rd best offense, assuming Mr. Josh Grizzard is competent.
Well said. Well, if Josh is doing his thing, then this offense is going to be firing on all cylinders. Anything else in this? You want to go to the defense?
No, I think the offense remains the same essentially as last year, but it just gets better. And the big question mark now for this team and for this offense specifically, can they be good enough to get over the hump in the playoffs, which we'll talk about here in a second when we do our predictions.
Playoffs. We're talking playoffs. Yeah, let's go to the defense. Here we have this full lineup. Starting at DN, we have Kalijah Cansey, nose tackle Vita Vea. What an absolute strong man. DN, we have Logan Hall. Linebacker, we have Yaya Diaby. Another linebacker, we have Anthony Walker Jr., who's out currently. I believe we talked about that earlier, or that was a draft pick.
That was David Walker. But it does say that Anthony is close to returning to practice, so we should be good there.
Love to hear it. We also have Levante David and Hassan Reddick, who we newly signed and also re-signed Levante David. At cornerback in the secondary, we have Jamel Dean, Antoine Winfield Jr., who's an absolute studded strong safety. Free safety, we have Tyke Smith. Cornerback, we have Zion McCollum. And nickelback, who we just drafted, Jacob Parrish, to be sticky and an absolute gnat in that nickelback position. Metro, I like the defense. I like the secondary specifically because I'm kind of betting on Jacob Parrish personally. I know it's not a great secondary, but Antoine brings a ton to this, and I think Jacob will make some plays here. But truly the strength in my eyes is how much can Hassan Reddick do off the edge, and can he produce like he once did? If he does, this defense levels up this year and more finishes around the 13-12 mark.
Yeah, 100% agree. This is an excellent run-stuffing team. Vita Vea is he doesn't get the praise he deserves, but this guy just changes everything because of how good he is against the run. And, give credit to Logan Hall, too. He's also really developed nicely. 5.5 sacks last year. Kalijah Cansey had 7.5 via ESPN. So you got some dudes up the middle that can get after the quarterback. And Yaya Diaby's developing off the edge, and he might be in for a big-time year. Hassan Reddick, to me, is kind of the key to unlocking this pass rush. If Hassan Reddick goes out there and gets you 10-plus sacks, this defense is going to be a lot better from what it was last year. You're also banking on Chris Braswell as well. He didn't get a lot of playing time last year. In fact, he played in 17 games, only had 11 solo tackles, 7 assisted tackles, and 1.5 sacks. So I think we're hoping for a bigger year. He was a former second-round pick for a reason, so you're hoping that he has a bit of a turnaround with him. And you're also looking at Anthony Nelson, too, who in the past has gotten 5.5 sacks back in 2022. Last year, 4 sacks. You're probably hoping that he can get, 4 or 5 sacks this upcoming year. So you got a couple pass rushers. I don't think they're very deep in the position, but I think they have a nice starting level. And then if Chris Braswell can develop, and then if Hassan Reddick becomes that 10-sack-a-season guy again, this is a really solid-looking defensive line. I worry about the linebackers. Levante David is 35 years old, and he's coming off a year where he had 76 solo tackles and 5.5 sacks, so clearly this guy can still go. But let's be honest, 35. That is, that's something you really don't want to have as your starting linebacker. But he's still playing well, so he gets the job done. Anthony Walker is intriguing to me. So Walker initially played 3 years with Indianapolis and then 3-ish years for Cleveland. Played pretty well for Cleveland back in 2023, where he had 30 solo tackles, 13 assisted tackles, 76.8 coverage grade, which to me is the biggest thing I want to talk about here. Last year, though, it fell off a cliff. He went to Miami, and in fairness to him, Miami sucked. so it was not a great situation for him, but he had a 39.1 coverage grade. That's not good. Not really good at all. He did have a 69.5 run defense grade, which is good enough, but the 39.1 is not good enough. The thing that does give me some confidence in this one is that in the past, specifically 2022, he had a 90.0 coverage grade. That was very limited snaps, though. 2021, a 78.2 coverage grade, and in 2020, a 56.7. So if he could just get the coverage grade up to about a 60 and be decent enough against the run, then I think he could be serviceable. But I do still believe a long-term answer at linebacker is definitely in store. I know for a lot of mock drafts, it was, for me at least, it was pretty consistently Jahad Campbell was their pick. And I know for a lot of people as well, it was Carson Schlesinger, who a lot of people thought would have been a Buccaneer. Neither of them went their way. They didn't draft anyone. So I think linebacker could be a bit of an issue for them this year. But I think for the most part around them, you're pretty good. And I think those linebackers are pretty good against the run. So I'm not too worried about that. And then in your secondary, I think it's really developing nicely. I think you have 6 guys you feel pretty good about with, 4 solid corners and, 2 solid safeties. And you also brought in Kendall Vidor as well, who has some experience in playing time as well. We'll see if Shiloh can get out there. I know he made a play in the preseason, so pretty cool. And by the way, Shiloh in those live streams, hysterical. This dude is genuinely, he's such a bundle of joy, and it's so fun to watch. I think he might actually make the roster just because of how,
the vibes.
The vibes. And even if he doesn't make it in Tampa Bay, he'll make it somewhere because this guy is just, he's great. He brought some fans on the field and was running sprints with fans. That's so cool.
Awesome.
That's so awesome. Cool. And there's a Buccaneers fan. I can't remember what he's called, but he's like a big Bucs fan. He's always at the games and stuff. And he brought him on the field and he was dancing around him or something. Dude is just always smiling. He's just a bundle of joy. But yeah, look, Antoine Winfield Jr. is just maybe the best safety in football. Tyke Smith moves now to free safety as well, which I think is a better spot than him than at nickel. Parrish moves to nickel. You got Zion McCollum. You got Jamel Dean. They're good enough. They get the job done. And then Benjamin Morrison, if he can stay healthy and can play well, he could be that difference-making corner that really elevates this defense. So offensively, it's a known product. It's top 5 right now, and we know that. Defensively, we know they're good. We know they're fine. But they have the potential to be pretty damn good if things go their way. So one of the things that I say in basically every single team video is to be a contender, to be a Super Bowl contender, you got to have a top 10 offense and a top 10 defense. Well, check mark on the offense. I think that's clearly a top 10 offense. This defense has the potential to get there. So, the past few years, they've been a player or two away. I think they have the possibility of getting there this year. We'll see, though.
Metro, A+ analysis. I'm going to grade you right here, sir. You did a great job. I want you to do 2 more things before we move on. You gave me an area where you think this defense will finish, but rank this offense and this defense within their own division. Where does it finish from 1 to 4?
Oh.
Individually. O, then D.
Offense number 1, defense number 1. Both.
Ooh, that sounds pretty good.
The Panthers are improving, but they're not there yet on either side. Neither are the Saints. And the Falcons, I think they'll have a good offense, but I don't think they'll be top 10. And defensively, I like Jalen Walker and I like James Pierce Jr. By the way, James Pierce had a pretty good preseason showcase. But, yeah, I think Tampa Bay is clearly the better defense.
Hell yeah. Anything else you have on this team? Because I think this is a great segue into predicting their 2025 season.
Yeah, look, this is going to be a good team, and I'm just kind of previewing their schedule here, and it's not that bad. Not a bad schedule.
Not that bad, baby. It is time. Wait a minute. Almost. Guys, we love making content for you on this channel together, Metro and I, but we also make our own individual content on our own channels. Metro at MetroSports, waving to you right now. He does awesome, and folks, electric NFL analysis content go subscribe down in the description below, Metro Sports. Click on it, hit the red button. And then if you want to change a pace, more NFL draft content, I'm your guy. I'm going to be at Cade Rathbone in the description. Sub there as well if you enjoy the NFL draft. Thank you very much. And one more thing, if you're enjoying the video, please drop a like. We appreciate you. And now, it is time for the best part of our show. We're going game by game throughout the Tampa Bay Bucs season and predicting every single win and loss and see if they make the playoffs. Not much of a cliffhanger there because we kind of expected, but here we go. It is week 1. It's September 7th on a Sunday, and we are playing at noon in the Falcons Stadium. Metro, how does this one shake out?
Yeah, Atlanta's going to be better next year. Penix will be better, but they still have a long way to go before I think they're really contending versus Tampa Bay. So give me Tampa Bay in a pretty close competitive matchup.
1-0, a big-time divisional win. You can argue Atlanta will be the best second-place-ish team in that division, so huge win on the road. Going to week 2, damn, it gets harder. It's Monday Night Football in the Houston Texans Stadium. The Texans will be youthful, healthy, and ready to play. This defense is stout. How does this one finish, Metro, in Houston?
This one's a interesting matchup. I actually think these two teams are similar in a lot of ways. One of the things that I think Houston is susceptible to is really good defensive lines that can get after the quarterback. And I don't know right now if Tampa Bay has the personnel to really get after CJ, but I think they have enough. And I think offensively speaking, if they can score 20, 24 points, I think they should be able to win. So I'm going to give the win here to Tampa Bay.
Let's go. We are 2-0 on the season. Going into week 3, week 4, we have a really tough matchup. Won't say who it is yet, but week 3, we have the New York Jets at home. Could this be a possible trap game while we look ahead to the future? I don't know. It's September 21st. How does one finish at noon, Metro?
Yeah, this is a trap game, but I think as long as you handle your business, you should be fine. And I think Tampa Bay will handle their business. I will say Tampa Bay does have a tendency to not handle their business at times, at least not fully. There was a game last year where they fell behind to a really bad team, really a lot, and they were able to come back. So just handle your business, show up to work. New York will be fun next year, but I don't think their offense will be good enough to beat a Tampa Bay.
Let's go. Fire me up. We're 3-0 on the season, and now we face our biggest foe yet. Week 4, we're at home, thank goodness, against the Philadelphia Eagles at noon. I don't know how this is a noon game because I'll be watching it for sure. Fantastic matchup in the NFC. Metro, who wins this game?
I think for Tampa Bay, obviously you want to win, but if you do not win, you want this game to be really close and competitive, so you can kind of hang your hat on that. And I think that's what I'm going to predict. I think Philadelphia wins, but I don't think Tampa Bay gets blown out or anything like that. I think it's a really close game that makes for an interesting storyline as we get to the playoffs.
Well said, man, because it does set the tone when you get in the playoffs. If you get built to ask right here, your team is thinking in the back of their head, shit, we got to play the Eagles. We're not winning that. Everybody in the back of their head has defeat on their mind. I hope this is a close one. Metro predicts it will be. Give me a win right here for the Eagles and a loss for us. Week 5, it's October now. The clock is turning over. We're on the road. We're going to Seattle to play the Seahawks. A feisty defense with Mike McDonald as head coach. Offense, though, will have some questions. Can Darnold emerge? Can their new receiving core with JSN and Cooper Kupp emerge? How does this one finish, Metro?
This is a tough sort of bounce-back game. You want to bounce back here, but you actually have a pretty competitive team in Seattle that may not make the playoffs, but if they don't, they'll be right in the conversation for it. I'm going to give Seattle a win here. I think Tampa Bay is coming off a bad loss or a disappointing loss to Philadelphia. And, they now go to Seattle. It's at Seattle, too, so you're traveling all the way over to Seattle. So, which, by the way, from Tampa Bay to Seattle, that's an 8-hour flight. So that's not fun. So I'm going to give Seattle the win here.
Well, so that is a far-ass flight. It's like going to Hawaii.
They have their home game in Philadelphia, then they got to go all the way to Seattle, then they got to go all the way back to San Francisco, or all the way back to Florida again. So,
my goodness.
Far.
So we catch another loss. We are now 3-2 on the season. Heading in on October 12th, we're playing the San Francisco 49ers at home. Thank goodness. It's going to be noon. Metro, who wins this game?
San Fran can afford a few losses. Their schedule is not very difficult, and I think when they go up against high-level opponents, they will get kind of exposed. And I think this is one of those matchups where I think Tampa Bay wins, and I think they win pretty comfortably. So I'm going to give the win to Tampa Bay.
4-2. Did you hear that, guys? We are a high-level opponent. Tampa Bay Bucks are not messing around this year. It's week 7. We have another Monday night football game, and this city is not very friendly either. We're going to Detroit to play the Detroit Lions at 6 p.m. It's primetime. Metro, who wins this game?
Yeah, really fun game here. Detroit lost to Tampa Bay last year, and I think week 2 or 3, but Detroit beat them in 2023 in the playoffs. So we got two really evenly matched teams with two really high potent offenses, and I think Detroit is better, but because I don't know what to expect from their OC or DC, I think I'm going to give the win here to the Bucks.
Let's go. 5-2 on the season. Heading into week 8, we're 1 week out from a bye, and we have the New Orleans Saints on the road. We're going to their house. 3 p.m. game. Who wins this one, Metro, before the bye?
Shaw could go out there and blow people's brains away, but I'm going to give the win to Tampa Bay.
6-2 heading into our bye week. A pretty awesome place to be considering our schedule. And one thing I want to call out before we move forward, we want Wirfs back by week 4. The Philly and Seattle stretch, if we have Wirfs, those become a lot more winnable. If not, we are in some kind of hell right there personally. Would you say yes or no to that, Metro?
Yeah, in an ideal world, he's ready by week 4. But if he's not 100%, I wouldn't rush him back. I would rush him back if he's ready to go by week 7. That would be my cutoff date for Wirfs, assuming the injury is not that big of a deal.
Great analysis, sir. Let's go into week 10. We are 6-2 heading into the back half of this season. Such a perfectly placed bye week, by the way. That does not happen a lot. It is just a thing of beauty. Week 10 at home, the New England Patriots. Drake May and an upgraded New England team with a win line of 8.5 this year, which is pretty high for a team that's coming off a bad year. Who wins this one?
I think New England will be competitive, and I think they can slow down Baker. But ultimately, I don't think the Patriots offensively are going to be able to keep up with Tampa Bay. So I'm expecting a 31-20 game here. So give me Tampa Bay.
LFG, baby. We're now 7-2 heading into week 11, November 16th. We're going to Buffalo. Oh, my God. On the road, the Buffalo Bills. Now it's getting chilly. November 16th in New York is no easy task. Who wins this one at noon?
Weather could be a factor here. It's the Miami thing. If you're in Miami, you're in that Florida area, you're used to that hot weather, that nice, cool ocean
Can't blame 'em.
breeze. But then you get over to, a cold-ass New York Buffalo, and you're like, I can't do this. So this one is going to be a tough matchup, but I think Baker's got that dog in him. I'm going to give Baker the win here.
Holy shit. We are 8-2 on the season. Week 12. We are on the road again, going to play the Rams. Metro, this one's going to be really interesting. What do you think this boils down to on Sunday Night Football?
Oh, this boils down to health of L.A., primarily Matthew Stafford, and this comes down to what does the pass rush for Tampa Bay look like. I think L.A. wins, though.
Okay, a humble loss right here to a really good team on the road. We are now 8-3 on the season. Week 13, we're back at home. The Cardinals are walking up on our doorstep. Who wins this game at home?
Another long flight after a loss in L.A. You're not going all the way back to Tampa Bay. I think Arizona is a really good team. That'll be really competitive, and I think Arizona is going to get the win here.
Okay, a 2-game slide from Metro. Didn't mean to say okay. Sounds kind of rude, but I understand. These are two really good back-to-back teams. I fear for our team, but we're 8-4. We're good, baby. We're good. We're going to week 14. We are at home, and the Saints are rolling up to town. It's December 7th. It's getting chilly out, but not in Tampa Bay. Who pulls this one out?
I think Tampa Bay should dominate this division for the most part. They're going to win this one.
Let's go. Right back in the saddle. We're 9-4 in nearing clinching potential for our division with 4 games left on the schedule. And here's a big one. Against a pretty good team, the Atlanta Falcons find their way into our home in Tampa Bay in Week 15. Who wins this game on Thursday Night Football? This is a 4-day turnaround, too, I want to call out, Metro.
Yeah, 4-day turnaround. Atlanta has been pretty competitive with Tampa Bay the past few years, and I think Atlanta has the firepower offensively, and I think now there's more continuity and there's more chemistry than there was in week 1. So I think we're going to get a close matchup here, and maybe Tampa Bay gets a bit comfortable and thinks they can cruise with this one. I'm going to give the win to Atlanta, though.
Completely fair. Atlanta has the firepower. They are a good team. 9-5. The division is not locked up whatsoever with that loss. Week 16 on the road. We got a 10-day break now because we played on Thursday Night Football before. We're going to Carolina to play the Panthers. Also in division, how good is Carolina this year? Because we see them twice in these last 3 games. This one will be big for our divisional standings. What does this boil down to, Metro, and who wins this game?
Yeah, Carolina will be competitive. This one boils down to me of just how is the Tet and Bryce connection? Has it really developed, and are those guys clicking at 100%? If they are, I think it could be some close matchups. We saw last year, I believe Carolina took Tampa Bay to overtime, and then I think Tampa Bay whooped some ass in the next matchup. It was, what was it? Yeah, it was 48-14 in the second matchup after a 26-23 victory in overtime a few weeks prior. So I'm going to give the win to Tampa Bay. I think Tampa Bay, after kind of going on a bit of a losing skid to end the season, they got to clutch up here these last few games, and I think they will.
10-5. We're pretty locked into the playoffs at this point, but winning the division, no dice. We got to win 2 more to really secure this up. Week 17, we are going to Miami. Miami is a team that doesn't play well late in the year. This is December 28th, but we're in Miami. This is a short flight for the both of us, almost like home field advantage. What are we thinking for this one, Metro? This one's very unique.
I'm thinking a very high-scoring shootout game, which actually favors Miami, but I'm going to give the win here to Tampa Bay. There's just too many question marks with that Miami roster right now. Their secondary sucks. Tua's probably going to be hurt at this point. At least, we hope not, but he might be.
Based on history.
And Tyreek Hill might get arrested before the game. So give me Tampa Bay.
Unfortunate circumstances we would never wish would happen, but based on history, it might happen. You just never know. Week 18, we are back at home with Carolina. We mentioned earlier, we have 2 of their matchups in these last 3 games. We are now 11-5. This one's for the division for sure. If you can win this game, you're going to lock it up. The only competitor I would say at this point is going to be the Falcons, probably with a win less than you knocking on the door if you miss this win. Metro, this affects seeding for the playoffs and us putting a hat on our head and celebrating after the game. Who wins this one against Carolina at home?
Yeah, I mean, there is a chance that they already have the division locked up and their seeding is already set. So we'll see. I'm going to assume, though, that they want to play this one and that they maybe have some seeding or division stakes here, and I think they're going to win. I think Carolina's talented, but it's late in the season. Tampa Bay cannot afford to go into the playoffs with, a loss, so they're going to win this one.
Let's go. We finished the season 12-5, which means playoffs. We're talking playoffs? Hell yeah, we are, brother. We're going on to the postseason. And Metro, let's make our theoretical ladder and tree for the NFC. Who are the divisional winners? We are obviously one of them. Thank you very much. We have our little NFC South hats on, and we're very excited with that win. It's going to be us. Who else would you guess? The Packers, the Lions for the NFC North?
Give me Philly in the NFC East. Give me LA in the NFC West. Give me Detroit. I think Detroit wins the NFC North. And then South will be the Buccaneers. And in terms of seeding, we're either the 3rd or 4th seed.
Okay, fair. So let's call it the 3rd to be fair.
Okay.
We'll be the 3rd seed, and we will make – is that going to make – it can't be Detroit. Who's going to be the 4th then? We're 12-5.
It could be the Rams. They might get injured.
Cool.
They might lose a couple games. So we'll just say it'll go Philly, Detroit, Bucks, Rams.
Perfect. And then for our wild cards, I'll let you pick a team. I'll pick a team, then you pick a team to finish it off.
I think the 5th will be one of those North teams. I'm going to say the Packers, and then you pick the 6th.
For the other one, I will go with the Cardinals. I'm a big Cardinals guy this year.
Yeah. And then the 7th, I'll go with the Commanders. I think the Commanders get in.
Very nice, very nice. So that means by this seeding, the first gets a bye. We would play, is that the Cardinals?
Yes, we would be Bucks versus Cardinals. We lost 2, by the way.
Ooh, this one's getting intense. It's going to be home field advantage. We're going to Tampa Bay. We are getting rowdy down there in Tampa. It's a playoff wild card matchup. The Cardinals are going on the road. We played them in Week 13, and we lost to them our only 2-game losing streak of the season. And can they beat us again, but this time in our house? Let's find out. Metro, who wins this one? The 2 Oklahoma winners that went first overall. You got Kyler versus Baker matching up I'm fired up now. Matching up in the playoffs. How does this one shake out?
I trust Baker a lot more than Kyler right now. And while I think Arizona's going to be good, I think they are a year away from being serious contenders. So I think for now, I'm going to give the win to Tampa Bay.
Let's go, baby. We're going on to the divisional round, and that means we're likely playing, if we are 3 seed and the 1st seed emerges, we're probably playing Detroit, or we're playing whoever upsets Detroit, correct?
You would face if Detroit wins, then you're going to face Detroit no matter what. Mm-hmm. If Detroit loses, then I think you would face the winner of the 4 versus 5. So Detroit would go against Washington, which, by the way, what a storyline that would be.
Oh my God!
I'm going to predict Detroit to win that one, but I don't
know, dog. I don't know.
I don't want to bet against Jada Daniels. I'll say Detroit wins though. They gotta put belt to ass, bro. They gotta get some revenge for what happened last year, which means that we would face Detroit. So if Detroit wins, we're going up against Detroit, which kind of feels like it's destiny at this point. Detroit versus Buccaneers. We've seen it 2 years in a row, and it's 3 years in a row at this stage, and we're 2-1 against them, so we have some success.
2-1. We played them in Week 7 on Monday Night Football in Detroit, and we won that game, if I remember correctly.
We did.
We did. Big win on the road. Can we do it again? It's the divisional playoffs. Back in 2023, Baker had the ball in his hands with 2 minutes left to win the game for his team. A great pick by the Lions to seal the dub and head on to the NFC Championship. Can they change the course of history this time around on the road in Detroit? Can Baker do it? Metro, what do you think?
A big part of me wants to say yes, but there's a part of me that's also saying no. But this is a Buccaneers video.
It is a Buccaneers
fans
video.
Might riot if we lose. All right, we'll give it to the Buccaneers.
Let's go. I'm a Lions fan. I'm okay with it. Let's fucking go. Big win. We're going to the NFC Championship. And that means we had the Eagles play the Commanders. We saw what happened last year. I expect more of that.
Eagles would have played the 4 or 5.
Oh, you're right. So we'll call it the Rams?
Yeah, we'll say the Rams. Which, by the way, what a matchup that would be.
Dude, and they almost got them last year. Who would win that, though? Because the Rams and Eagles, they were damn close, brother. They were damn close.
I would say Philly. I don't think Philly's a good matchup for LA just because they have the running backs that can go. Saquon can go. And I just don't know if the Rams have the linebackers to match them. So I would give it to Philly, but that would bum me out. I'm a Cowboys fan. That would bum me out. So I'd be rooting hard for Tampa Bay. Like, hard. Baker, please save me, bro. But I'm not a big fan of this matchup. Philly's not a good matchup for Tampa Bay either, by the way.
Philly, Bucks. NFC Championship. We're in Philadelphia. Extremely hostile. It is near the end of January, so it's also cold as balls outside. Got to remember that. Saquon is healthy and running the ball in the snow. This one's tough, Metro. Can Bucky Irving keep up with him on the ground along with Rachaad White? How does this one finish? Can they get to the Super Bowl?
I said it was a bad matchup, but the more I think about it, it might not be a bad matchup if you're Tampa Bay.
Bro.
Because you can stuff the run. And I know it's Saquon Barkley, or Stay Calm Barkley, like they like to call him now, which is a hysterical commercial, by the way. I don't know, Baker Mayfield might dice up this Philly defense, man. I mean, Philly, they lost some pieces, and they're trusting some new guys now. I think if they can hold Saquon to less than 100, give me Tampa Bay. That's a task in and out of itself. Give me Philly.
Damn it. I was so excited to go crazy. It's okay. It's realistic. But when you look at all the opponents in the playoffs, the Bucs do match up kind of nicely against the Eagles.
Well, the thing is if you can stuff the run
yeah,
versus good teams, you give yourself a chance. And if you can stuff the run specifically versus Philadelphia and force Jalen Hurts to beat you with his hand, which I think he can, but we've also seen in the past when you take away the rushing element, makes life a little bit harder for Hurts and those other guys. And it goes for a lot of these teams in the NFC. If you take away Detroit's ground game, you force Jared Goff to go back there and throw the ball all across the yard, all of a sudden he might throw a pick that changes the game. You take away Washington's ground game, that hurts Jaden Daniels a lot. LA, no Kyron Williams. I think they can survive with just Matthew Stafford, but it makes it a lot harder. And then same thing in the AFC. You take the ground game away from Kansas City, it makes life for Mahomes harder. Same with Buffalo, same with Baltimore. So, yeah, I mean, as long as they have those run stuffers, they're going to be competitive. It's just a matter of can they actually get the job done, which that's the hard part to predict.
In the end, guys, we went to the NFC Championship. We had a great year. We won our division. I don't think it can get quite better than that. Let's be honest with yourself, Tampa Bay Buck fans. If this happened, are you smiling at the end of the season? I hope so. Or are you like, damn it, we're Super Bowl contenders. We should have won the whole thing. I'm genuinely curious, and I'm sure Metro is too, because we don't know what y'all are thinking every single year. Drop that in the comments below. Metro, we had a very fun time. We won our division. We went to the big show before the big game. Any final thoughts on this Bucks team?
No, I mean, look, Bucks fans, this is going to be a fun year for you guys. Per usual, you had a fun year last year, but didn't quite go your way in the playoffs. I think this year you have the chance to do so. I look at the NFC, it's fairly open, and for Tampa Bay, if they can just have a few things go their way defensively, I say they have a shot.
A-plus analysis. Bucks fans, as I mentioned, go comment below what you think will happen this year. What's your season prediction? What's your record? Do you win it? How far do you go in the playoffs? Let us know. Let us know below. We want to hear from the true fans themselves because y'all, at the end of the day, know best and know better than Metro and I. Also, if y'all enjoyed this video, if you drop a like, it helps the algorithm out tremendously. Thank you very much. Y'all, we are so thankful for y'all. We are on our way to the big 400. We started this channel back in March, April. It has been a short time, but y'all have been so awesome and great fans. We really appreciate y'all. We're family here, and we look forward to this NFL season, and especially week 2 of the preseason for stuff to overreact to. Thank you, guys. We appreciate you more than you know. Have the best day. Love y'all. Metro, get us out of here.
Thank y'all. Have a good one. Peace out.